I'm speaking to you on behalf of Larbert Baptist Church in Stirlingshire. A thought for the day, Monday, the 26th of September. I wonder if you've keyed into this YouTube program, perhaps inadvertently or whatever, and you're troubled, a disappointment, a prayer seemingly not answered, an anxiety, some disappointment that rankles with you, perhaps a regret. Are you troubled? Well, we all are. I am. And it's with that fellow feeling, that same experience, that I share with you my thought for the day. There may be some dark and threatening circumstance that oppresses you. Well, I know what that is. And let us be together, you and I, as fellow travellers along the same path. In the Bible, in Psalm 131, verse 2, the psalmist says, "Surely I have calmed and quieted my soul like a weaned child with his mother, like a weaned child is my soul within me." There is a testimony. The psalmist is being very frank, and he is likening his soul to a weaned child with his mother. He is identifying a supreme relationship, a profound experience that is sustaining in every situation. He says, My Lord, my heart is not haughty, nor my eyes lofty. Neither do I concern myself with great matters, nor with things too profound for me. As a strange statement in the Bible. After all, the Bible, according to my conviction, is the revelation of the mind of God. And it is overflowingly full of great matters and of profound truths. I've spent my life studying the Bible. And far from the glory of it diminishing with every passing day, it becomes more wonderful. But the psalmist, he disclaims any attempt at great matters, at things that are too profound for him. Is he being simplistic? Is he setting to one side truths of overwhelming magnificence and grandeur to poke around on surface trivialities? No, there is none of that in what the psalmist testifies to. He has given the clue. My soul is as a weaned child with his mother. And the psalmist is giving testimony to the fact that there is in his life a relationship which eclipses absolutely everything in its utter supremacy. It is his relationship with God. I'm not speaking in any abstract terms. The psalmist was utterly convinced that the supreme experience of the human being in this life is communion and fellowship with God. And that is why he uses this analogy of a weaned child with his mother. What he is setting to one side is any subject, whatever, that interrupts his fellowship with God. That this is of such transcendent value to him that, in a sense, with single-mindedness, he gives his primary attention and the focus of all his thoughts to his communion with God. I was listening recently to Pastor Igor Bandura, Senior Vice President of the Baptist Union of Ukraine. And he was saying that when he preaches to his congregations in Ukraine, there is a measure of impatience with the people. They desire only one thing, and it is this: how can I be in God's presence when the whole country is under the unrest and threat of aggressive invasion? The quest of the congregations to which Pastor Bandura goes it caused me to know the way in which I should walk. That's a text from another psalm, Psalm 143, verse 8. You see, the need dictates the appetite. The people to whom Pastor Bandura goes to minister are day in, day out under this appalling threat. And their desire is the presence of God. There's a hymn written by a man who perplexes me in many ways, fascinates me, but perplexes me. But in this hymn, he exquisitely prays for guidance because he is troubled. Lead, kindly light, amid the encircling gloom, lead thou me on. The night is dark, and I am far from home. Lead thou me on. Keep thou my feet. I do not ask to see the distant scene. One step enough for me. And here is the psalmist's testimony. He said that his soul is like a weaned child with his mother. And then to put the emphasis specially on his soul, like a weaned child is my soul within me. Until the weaning, the suckling, is prompted by instinct. Isn't that so? I mean, there may be deep down in the little baby's subconscious experience things that will later emerge for that little one's psychological and spiritual enrichment. But before the weaning, it really is an instinctive recourse to the place where food may be. But after the weaning, there is enlargement of diet. There is a deepening of bond. And the child and the mother are all in all to each other. And now the eyes are opened to see and to recognize and to trust. Where before it was too easy just to be instinctive. And that is how it is, how it is for us, you and I, in the trouble. Whatever it is, the disappointment, the anxiety, the heartache, the long, long hours of waiting, the dread of what the future holds. My soul is like a weaned child. There is a relationship with God. The priority in our life of communion or fellowship with God is unquestioning. It is the priority. Not the trouble, but the Lord who is guiding through the trouble. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, it may only be a shadow. It may not be the experience of death itself, but yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. That is the thought I want to leave with you. We are together, you and I. In many respects, we are sharing the same experience, you and I. But the answer to it, oh, how can I tell you? How can I make you see it? The answer to it is the presence of God, made known in the incarnate Son of God, Jesus Christ our Saviour. Come to me, he says, come to me, all ye that labour under heavy laden, and I will give you rest. There it is. I can only tell you that. I can testify that it is the greatest experience I have ever known. To be spiritually in the presence of God. Don't hammer me down into definitions. I can't do it. Don't be impatient with me and say, where's the logic of it? It surpasses me. All I know is this, that day in and day out, the presence of God made known in Jesus Christ the Lord is the uttermost blessedness I could ever know. God bless you. Good night.